So far, Plato and Aristotle have addressed questions about knowledge. Is universal lasting knowledge of things possible? They've also addressed questions about ultimate reality and the nature of the universe. However, they haven't yet addressed the why question. Why are there things? Why are things the way they are? So for Aristotle, we can't truly know things without also knowing why they are the way they are, their principles or their causes. The word for cause in classic Greek, which is different from Koine Greek, the language of the New Testament, the word for cause is atia, the reason for something happening. So Aristotle identified four causes of a thing. We've touched on two of them already. The first is material cause. So in its simplest form, the material cause of a thing is the matter or the substance of which the thing is made. So leather is the material cause of a shoe. Wood is the material cause of a chair. So matter is the basic building block of Aristotle's universe, but on its own, remember that matter has no form or shape. So think about water, for instance. On its own, water has no shape. So in the words of Bruce Lee, you put water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put water in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Be water, my friends, right? That's Bruce Lee. So going back to Aristotle, if matter doesn't have form, then matter is a necessary, but it's not yet a sufficient cause to explain things. So by necessary, we mean that an explanation cannot not include matter. You don't give an explanation of a chair or a shoe without talking about matter. However, by not yet sufficient, we mean that on its own, matter is not enough to explain a thing in its entirety. So leather is not enough to explain a shoe in its entirety. Wood is not enough to explain a chair. So then we get into efficient causes. The efficient cause is what set the thing in motion. It's a triggering event. The shoemaker working on leather to create a shoe is the efficient cause of a shoe. The carpenter working on the wood is the efficient cause of the chair. So the efficient cause gets things going and initiates change. It transforms what is potential into what is actual. So the carpenter is the efficient cause of actualizing the chair potential in wood. Biology is the efficient cause of turning protein into muscle tissues, right? So we have material causes and efficient causes. We don't yet have sufficient explanations. So now we add the third cause, formal cause. So the formal cause is the embedded form that gives both shape and purpose to matter. So a chair may be composed of matter, which is wood, but by itself, wood is not a chair. Form must be applied to the matter so that the chair begins to emerge out of the wood. And going back to Bruce Lee, the cup or the teapot provide form for the water to take. So on our slide here, the formal cause might be thought of as the design, the blueprint. So remember how Plato talked about a craftsman's form in one of the videos that we watched. In itself, wood has the potential to become a chair, but it's not yet a chair. The carpenter has the potential to turn the wood into a chair, but the carpenter needs a form to apply to the wood to make it a chair. Once a person, in this case, provides form to the wood, it achieves its potential of becoming a chair. The person is the efficient cause, the design is the formal cause. You put these together, you end up developing a chair. It's the potential actualized. Now, don't worry too much about the nuances of Aristotle's four causes. Just note, just notice, just write down, just pay attention to that Aristotle is offering an explanation of reality located here in this material world rather than in a different world like Plato did. But there's still something transcendent about the explanations that Aristotle is giving. And we see that particularly in the final cause. We see that transcendent connection particularly in that final cause. So the final cause is the purpose, the goal, the telos. for which things exist. So for Aristotle, the goal of existence is present at the beginning of a thing's existence. We're going to stick to the example of a chair. So at this point, we know that the material cause of the chair is wood, the formal cause is the carpenter's design, the efficient cause is the carpenter bringing forth the design. But what is the final cause of a chair? Until we know its purpose, our knowledge or our understanding of the chair is incomplete. So a prototype of a new chair design is different from a chair designed for an art competition, isn't it? And that's different from a chair designed for a 14th century peasant's cottage, which is different from a chair designed to be a prop in a Clint Eastwood Western. So until we know the purpose of the chair, we do not yet know the chair in its fullness. Why is the chair? The final cause tells us that answer, and that's what points beyond the chair itself to something bigger, something transcendent. So for Aristotle, everything in the universe has a final cause, a purpose. Each thing's final cause fits within the larger teleological framework of the universe. So we're all part of something bigger. We all have a part to play in something bigger. Our purpose is connected to something bigger. And this is interesting because it's not always apparent what the purpose of a thing is. Just as we discovered when asking about the purpose of a chair. So for Plato, the other world of the forms was the ultimate source of meaning and identity for every chair. For Aristotle, human beings potentially have an impact on the meaning and identity of things. For Plato, meaning and identity are not choices. For Aristotle, there is some sense in which there may be a human choice involved in the purpose of a thing. That said, Aristotle's philosophy still required something like God, still required something transcendent. Aristotle needed a prime mover, a first efficient cause to get this whole thing going. And as much as human beings may have some impact on the purpose of things, the purpose of things still has to fit into an overall larger transcendent system. Aquinas picked up on these points in Aristotle, and he used those points in Aristotle to create his proofs of God that we looked at last week. Aquinas was pulling from Aristotle to prove the existence of God. So even while Aristotle anticipated what we're going to see soon as a different model of reality, he was not entirely free of his local context. He was still working out of the dominant model of reality of his time and still largely fit within that model of reality.